Good afternoon. This is Krystel Reid Heath, the Chief Strategist and CEO of Capital Consulting Strategies. I hope that you are well today. Today we'll be discussing the upcoming holiday season and how to prepare your small business and organization for Black Friday, but also for the holiday season. And I'll be sharing some advertising and marketing tips to help you develop your strategy so that you're ready for the holiday season. So this time of year, there are lots of promotions where there are advertisements everywhere by large corporations and organizations. There are tons of promotions. And so you may be asking yourself, as a small business or as a small organization, or even as an individual, how do I cut through the noise and how do I make an impactful difference with a finite budget or with limited resources? And so today we'll answer that very question, but if you're on Facebook Live, I would love your comments and feedback as to your thoughts as to how you can do this. So because there are lots of advertisements, you may think that it is unsurmountable, but it is not unsurmountable. The task is achievable. And the picture that I've included on the slide illustrates that as small business owners and as executives of organizations, and even as individuals, there is so much clutter to cut through. When you look at this particular picture, you see that there are, I would venture to say, at least hundreds of people in this picture, and advertisements are surrounding everyone, and everyone really is going about their typical day and their typical routine. And I wanted to show this picture to illustrate that with the proliferation of social media and the proliferation of digital billboards, it certainly can become challenging to declutter and cut through the noise to make a meaningful impact. It's not impossible, but it is possible to do. So today I wanted to share some principles of advertising with you as you are considering your upcoming holiday message and as you're considering the promotion that your company or organization may offer. So one of the key principles is that usually one-time advertisements usually do not work. We recently acquired advertisement for a political campaign we worked with, and one-time advertisements typically do not work in that regard. So it is very important that you not only have multiple advertisements, but that you have quality over quantity. In politics, we know that in order for a voter or a constituent to act, it requires that you have 7 different touches or outreach messages to that particular individual. And the same is true for business. It is no different, or for a marketing strategy. The same is true. So quality is important, but quantity also is important as well. So consistency is essential. So once you've clearly decided and what you want to offer, it's important that you are consistent in creating clear, compelling communication with your target audience, and that if you're advertising throughout the holiday season and you have a particular promotion, that you are doing so consistently. In lobbying, there's this saying that you dig the well before you need the water. And the same is true in business when you're seeking to build relationships with members of your customer or your target audience. And so certainly you want to facilitate an organic discussion. One of the ways to do that is through email marketing, but then also having meaningful conversations with members of your target audience that really culminate in some type of offering that you provide. But you want to foster natural, organic conversations, and your advertising should be an extension of those conversations. And with that, it's important that you utilize a targeted approach. So generally speaking, it is not a good idea to advertise one particular message to all 40,000 of your email followers on whatever email platform you may be using, like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact or an iContact. You need to have a targeted approach. And having a targeted approach, clearly you need to define who your target audience is, understand what are the motivational behaviors which compel that target audience to act, but then also understanding demographic information. And this is where research is really important. So it's not just important to understand who the members of your target audience are. It is important to understand the research of that particular target audience. So where are those individuals located? What platforms are those individuals located on? Which ones do they use? And then even understanding information down to zip code data, that's really important. In the past, we've developed targeted databases for clients to help them, once they understood who their target audience was, to create a database of individuals that they could then develop special messages and promotions to. But it all goes back to research. Research should inform your strategy, and it certainly should inform the methods by which you advertise. So once you understand the research, you need to match the appropriate media option with your desired objective and not take a blanketed approach. So if you understand that your target audience is or females who are between the ages of 25 and 45 that live in 29210, 29212, and 29214, well then you should identify the appropriate medium options, whether that's traditional with radio, TV, and billboard, or whether that is social media, and through algorithms you can do micro-targeting on Facebook and Twitter to help you clearly define that particular target audience and then offer particular promotions to that target audience as well. So it all goes back to research. With us, data is king. So now that you understand some broad principles of advertising when you're developing your messages to create clear, compelling communication, just wanted to share a couple of tips with you about how you can get ready for the holidays and some very tangible things that you can do. So as I mentioned, research is king. And because research is king, as a byproduct of that research, the whole point of doing the research is being able to apply it in a structured way in which you can develop a strategy. So strategy without research is not effective, and research without strategy is just wishful thinking. So when developing a strategy, it's important to define clearly through SMART objectives, and that's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely objectives, SMART objectives on who your target audience is, what is your message, what are the tactics or the objectives that you're going to use to disseminate that message and to target that particular target audience, and then what are the metrics that you're going to use to evaluate whether or not your strategy was effective. Those are the core components that we use and develop when we're helping individuals and organizations define their marketing strategy. And as part of that, it's very important that when you're developing your marketing strategy, that you're very clearly able to develop a metric or mechanism by which you can evaluate your input, so dollars and time, and how that correlates to your output. And so once you've defined your target audience and you've defined the product or the service offering that you're offering to each particular target audience, if you're like us, we have multiple target audiences as we provide political, business, and marketing strategy consultation. We would offer differentiated products. So we wouldn't offer per se an election runoff special to businesses because that's not germane to that particular target audience. And inversely, we wouldn't offer a marketing business strategy to a political client because that's not applicable, although there's a field component which really is marketing for political candidates, but you have to make sure that your service offering matches not only the offering of your particular target audience, what they're seeking and desire, but also because you would have done the research, you'll need to understand not just what that particular service offering is for that particular target audience, but at what price point can the market sustain and bear the cost of what you're seeking to offer. So basically what I'm saying is there a demand for the service or the product that you're offering? You can have a great offering, but if the promotion that you're offering is A, not desired by your target audience, and B, does not create value or offer a value proposition in the marketplace, and if C, if there's not a demand for it, it is not a business solution and it is not prudent to go forward with that objective. And then once you've developed your strategy and you figured out who your target audience is, you then need to clearly communicate that message across multiple platforms. So we specialize in integrated marketing communications, which means You have clear, consistent communication with members of your target audience across multiple platforms. So essentially, you're saying the same thing over and over again, but you're saying it slightly different depending on to whom you're speaking, and you're utilizing language that is consistent, uh, that also is clear and compelling, which encourages that particular member of your target audience to act. So we provide consultation and marketing strategy, and with that, research is the core of what we do. And so because research is the core of what we do, we are able to offer individuals market analysis and research, which informs the development of their marketing strategy. And then we are able to facilitate planning and execution of marketing campaigns. And through our business partners and consultants, we are able to execute and implement the advertising, both traditional and digital, to help you meet your marketing objectives. We also specialize in the area of business development, and in that regard, research again is king, and we can help you do SWOT analysis, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, with regard to your competitors, and give you really the strategic advantage through our research, which would inform your business decisions. And then we also could facilitate with lead generation. So we've worked with clients to help them, once they figured out who their target audience was, to develop targeted databases with members of that target audience, inclusive of demographic and consumer information. And then we can help execute that particular business and marketing strategy through our business partners and consultants administering our call center to help you reach those individuals to sell whatever product or service you're offering, or to set up appointments on your behalf. And we also could facilitate direct mail and digital advertising campaigns as well through our consultants. So our offer to you, our value